Good morning and happy Friday. Another Raw blog episode. By the way, if any of you have Apple TV and you have watched the series, I think it's called Shrink or Shrinking, you will get the joke of the title of this section of my YouTube channel, the Raw blog. This morning has been such a fantastic morning. I was planning to talk about the things that happened this week, but I think this unscripted journal entry is going to speak specifically about what happened coming out of dream state and then in the first couple of hours of the morning, because it's so instructive to show what's available when you come into alignment with your broader perspective. Allow that perspective to inform you and then respond to the information the broader perspective is informing you with. And for, actually, there's a really good reason why your broader perspective is giving you information. But if you're not tapped into it, then you don't get the information. And I can see how, had I not been connected to my broader perspective, had I not developed a chronic state of connection to all that is, I could have gone into a tailspin this morning. So let's take a look at what happened. This is so freaking good. This morning I had, as I usually do, several astounding dreams. At some point in the future, maybe in a Worthiness Wednesday episode, I'll share raw recordings of the dreams that I have. I record almost all of the dreams that I have. Usually I dream between 3 and 8 dreams a night. But this morning, this one particular dream I had to do with a lot of money. I was at a conference center behind the scenes, and the curtain separating the operations from the event itself. Right in front of that curtain, on the event side of the curtain, was a huge stack of cash. I believe it was in $10,000 wads or stacks, so stacks of $10,000. And as I walked past that stack of money, there was a lot of activity going on, both on the operation side and on the event side. And as I walked past that stack of cash, I knew I could have that money, and I even received an impulse to take some, but instead I chose to continue to keep moving forward. I did not take the money. And that was the last dream I had before waking. When I woke, typically, this is so good. Typically when I wake from these dreams in an extremely positive frame of mind, a positive mood, a positive emotion. Emotions are really important. They're telling us something crucial. That's something else I'll be talking about in some of the basic videos I'll be making. So I woke this morning not feeling as great as I usually do. I wasn't in negative emotion, but I was nowhere near the love and joy and enthusiasm that I usually feel. I would say I was somewhere around passion or interest. Being interested in what happened. Why was it that I was in this mood? And so I got up out of bed to use the bathroom. And as I was coming back from the bathroom, the poets love this phrase, there was a still small voice that showed up in my head. Now, our broader perspective does not communicate in words. It communicates in vibration. That's why we have a brain while we're in physical reality, because the brain is constantly interpreting vibration. That's how you see your physical surroundings. Your physical surroundings are not real. They are a vibration. your brain is interpreting that vibration into physical reality, into objects that symbolize, just like they do in the dream state, that symbolize your vibrational point of attraction or point of perspective. So my broader perspective communicated to me in this moment in response to my interest to know what was going on with me that had me feeling a little lower in my vibration, evidenced by a little less positive emotion than I typically do. And the translation that my brain gave me of my vibrations communication was, this is so good. You are continuing to soothe the momentum of pursuing wealth. And so that's what it said. And I was interpreting, this is me now, I was interpreting that letting go of the pursuit of wealth was a bad thing. And that's why I felt the less than positive emotion. Oh my God, that's so good. I just got that right now. So think about this. For many years, probably just like you, I have pursued wealth. I've gone after it. And in that pursuit, I've given up or compromised or traded a lot of things that are far more important than material wealth. I traded my happiness. I traded my joy. I traded positive emotions and satisfaction for negative ones, like putting the nose to the grindstone and working hard and struggle as a badge of honor. I compromised my integrity and my morals oftentimes, not in criminal ways, but in terms of violating my own ideas of what's appropriate. And so all of that pursuing had me living incongruent with my broader perspective. And so I wasn't able to hear the guidance that my broader perspective now always gives me. But now that I'm tapped into it, I can hear it all the time. And as a result, live this charmed life that I'm living. The same charmed life that I'm teaching my clients how to live. And so back then, the idea of giving up the pursuit of wealth would have been seen by me as a failure. And that's a little bit why, when I first woke up, I was interpreting giving up the pursuit of wealth as something that had me in the lower range of positive emotion than where my broader perspective was, which is why my broader perspective communicated with me. Now, it was a still small voice. It was very faint, but I could hear it because I'm tapped in. I'm tuned into my broader perspective. And typically, I imagine, actually I don't have to imagine because my clients have demonstrated this to me. Typically, we humans, when we hear a voice like that, we ignore it. We think it's imagination rather than wisdom. But I'm no longer responding to such communications that way. So in the moment that I heard the translation of the vibration into the words, you're soothing, you're continuing to soothe your pursuit of wealth, I stopped. I was right over there near my bed. I stopped and I sat down because I wanted to contemplate. I wanted to further understand. I wanted to further integrate what my broader perspective was telling me. And just the choice of sitting still, of taking a beat to digest the communication from my broader perspective was enough, because I immediately felt better. I skyrocketed back into the joy and passion and love that I feel about life and about myself and about all that is. And I knew that when that happened, because I had heard my broader perspective and I did something constructive about it. So now I'm going to include up here a couple of screenshots, or not screenshots, a couple of videos to show you something from my personal life that I do to fill my worthiness basket. I don't know if you've looked at the worthiness video on my Worthiness Wednesday section of my YouTube channel here. But in that video, I talk about the importance of filling a basket of evidence that the universe is constantly giving everything to you without you having to do anything to get those things. By filling a basket of that evidence, you don't develop because it happens naturally. Naturally, what comes out of you when you realize that you are being overwhelmed with everything that you're wanting, being delivered to you, for you, by the universe, you cannot help but start feeling worthy. And so this is something I tell all of my clients to journal about, to record, to document every aspect of the guaranteed results that the positively focused practice offers, so that in that documentation, in that recording, in that remembering, in that compiling, you are reminding yourself that all of these wonderful things are happening. So one of the things that I do every day, I have an Apple iPhone, and it has this wonderful app, the name of which I can't remember right now, and I can't look it up because I'm looking at my phone right now as I'm recording this. It's an app that allows you to track your mood every day. And like I said, I'm going to I did a screen recording of this app to show you how I record almost every day how I'm doing with my mood throughout the day. And it allows me to see how well I've done with regard to improving my mood. Now in the video, the sub video or the inset that I'm putting here, you can see that I don't scroll back very far, but you have to scroll back about a year or so to see any sort of dip in my mood, because I've been practicing so diligently using this app in recording and documenting and amplifying and appreciating where I am in my mood. Sometimes I record several entries a day, as you see in this video up here. Sometimes I only get maybe 1 or 2 a day, but in usually every day, I am recording my mood so that I can see where I am. So the minute I sat down to contemplate this wonderful communication from my broader perspective, the fact that I could perceive the communication from my broader perspective, the fact that I knew it was coming from my broader perspective, and the wonderful message that my broader perspective was telling me, the minute I did that, my mood skyrocketed. And so I stopped and I made an entry, which you probably saw in the clip just there. And when I made the entry, of course, this is why I tell my clients to document, record, and remember, it amplified how good I was feeling. So I felt even better. So then, when I went into my meditation, because I always meditate an hour in the morning after waking up, I had these wonderful alternate dimension shifts. I'm not going to describe what they are. It's not that they're private or anything. They're just too complicated for someone who doesn't have understanding of what alternate dimension travels look like. It's not going to make any sense to anybody to share it. At some point in the future, I will do a video to show how to interpret both dreams and alternate dimension shifts. But I had this alternate dimension shift, and this was toward the end. I'm going to put a screenshot here because I want to show you the 2 indicators, because I record everything I'm doing in this practice. I pretty much record, and I recorded that I decided that I was going to do, rather than an hour meditation, a 90-minute meditation. And so I did a 90-minute meditation, and toward the end of the 90 minutes, my heart rate dropped down to 48. Now, in a previous journal entry, I believe, I've mentioned this, and when I had gotten to that state, I went into this alternate dimension, and in this alternate dimension, I actually perceived myself negotiating through, soothing the momentum of pursuing wealth and the reasons why I was pursuing wealth. The fear-based beliefs I had inherited from civilization, from human society, that wealth is the solution to the insecurity that we feel, when it is not at all the solution. The solution to insecurity that we feel is connection with our broader perspective, which then shows us that there's nothing to feel insecure about because you are the center of all that is. And so what started this morning with fabulous dreams opened up an opportunity to realize that I am continuing to soothe my old momentum through my connection with my broader perspective. And that connection enabled me to perceive all of this, and not only to benefit from wonderful dreams, but to inspire me to go even further in my meditation, which then offered me more evidence, this alternate dimension shift and others, that inspired me to go even more, which then fueled me having content to provide, to share with you today in this raw blog entry. This is the thing. I had planned on talking about what happened this week, but no, my broader perspective wanted me to share this experience because it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. So I'm going to stop here. I have so much more I would like to share about my clients and the dreams they're experiencing and the effect their dreams are having on them. Very similar to what you're hearing me talk about. And this is the great thing about having clients is, yes, my own experience is extremely validating of the practice, the positively focused practice, and the guaranteed results it offers. But then when I see my clients having the same experiences, there's nothing like that because it affirms or confirms how powerful this practice is. It's not just me. I'm not deluding myself. I am ascending. And having clients ascending also, this is the thing, it amplifies my own practice. When I see my clients getting the wonderful manifestations they're getting, their manifestations amplify the results I'm getting in my life. It's such a great experience. Life is so wonderful. There is so much joy available to all of us. The thing is, though, we all have free will. So you have to look. We have to look where the joy is. That's a deliberate choice, a deliberate exercise of free will. And when we exercise it deliberately, instead of allowing our external reality to make that choice for us, the empowerment we step into, it's off the charts. See you next week.